The Kamloops real estate market crashed in 2023. It just wasn't the crash that we all thought we were waiting for. It wasn't a crash in prices, but it was actually a crash in sales volume. The number of transactions that are going to take place by the end of 2023 being the lowest that we've seen in 8 years. So in today's video, I'm going to break down what happened in 2023, because we're actually going to end the year with price growth across the board in a market with so much uncertainty. That's not a statement that I thought I'd be making. Also, I'm going to discuss opportunities that I can see for buyers and sellers as we head into 2024. Before we get started, let me introduce myself. I'm Scott McDowell. I'm an award-winning realtor here at Royal LePage with over 17 years experience helping both buyers and sellers in Kamloops find their dream home and achieve their financial goals. The one thing I do ask is if you do find this information helpful, please help us out, hit that like button, and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you're looking to make a move to Kamloops and want some expert advice, reach out with the contact information below or click the calendar link in the comments to book an appointment with me at a time that works best for you. All right, let's take a look at this past year compared to 2022. So a couple things are actually quite surprising here. As I mentioned, that we were down considerably in sales here. So when you're taking a look at 2022 compared to 2023, obviously the sales figures and the average sale price is going to be a little bit different than when you're looking at kind of a traditional market. What we saw at the start of 2022 is this crazy uptick of prices from basically January until the peak of the market in March or April. In around there, we saw astronomically increase in sales prices there. So that's actually going to skew a little bit of the sales. We saw lots of sales during that time. We saw big high sales numbers, and then we saw a dramatic drop from there with the interest rate increases here. So when you're comparing 2022, obviously sales were down a little bit. We saw sales down 13% compared to 2022. New listings actually was a little bit down, which was a little bit of a surprise here. I would have thought that we would have seen a little bit more inventory, still trying to capture a little bit of the higher market. So that was a little bit of a surprise here. Active inventory, we're sitting fairly similar to where we were before. The same time last year, a little bit more active inventory, but for the most part, actually fairly stable. I would have thought in a down market with lower sales, typically you will see a rise in inventory. What we're seeing at this point right now, it actually hasn't happened, with a lot of people pulling their house off the market as we head into the wintertime, as we head into the next year there, and possibly some changing of market times with some interest rate changes in the early next year there. So as I mentioned there, if you take a look at average price, we are down 6.2%. Now that's a cumulative sale price when you're looking at all of 2022, the average sale price, and all of 2023. Now, we did see, obviously, from the peak at a benchmark price of $820,000, we dropped down to the tail end of last year of 2022. And then we saw a little bit more of an increase here, which I'll explain a little bit further in our video here. So we did see overall the average price did drop 6.2%. But again, like I said, most of that is accounted for in the spring of 2022, why the price is a little bit higher there. So we did see increase of days on market. So your average days on market was 43. Again, a lot of that was in 2022 was due to the fact that homes were selling immediately. Homes were selling $100,000 over list price, subject free, early in 2022 compared to 2023. We're starting to see a little bit more of a normalization of days on market, about 50, 60 days on market here in the current market. So let's take a look at, so one of the main reasons why the market has changed so much over the past year here is obviously the continued rate increases from the Bank of Canada. It started in January, where we saw another 0.25% increase. Then as soon as we actually had stabilization in the March-April range, we started to see consumer confidence come back to the market. So with the consumer confidence come back to the market, we saw sales pick up again. And with sales picking up again with a little bit more of a lower inventory or lower quality inventory, we did start seeing prices increase because of that, because of those changes, and consumer confidence came back. So what did the Bank of Canada do? Back-to-back rate increases just kind of sacked the market as we kind of finished up in the summertime there. It did soften as we kind of headed into the fall market there. And honestly, as we started to see the rate announcements stabilize, with also talks of future rate decreases in 2024, I personally saw a little bit of an uptick in December. I know a lot of other agents found a little bit of an uptick in sales in December and prices and stuff like that. So I think a lot of that did have a lot to do with the weather as well. So obviously, it's as I'm talking right now, it's 6 degrees outside. It's t-shirt weather. I'm in a t-shirt right now with the spring jacket. So that does play into a factor when you're considering this same time last year, it was minus 30. So obviously sales are going to be a little bit different when it's 6 degrees outside versus minus 30. We tend to see buyers kind of come back and out of the market there. So now let's take a look at how the single family homes looked. Obviously, as I mentioned there, in January, we did start a little bit lower with a benchmark price of in the 605 range. We did see increases for about 7 of the 8 months to start the year. We did still see a little bit of a blip in May, and as we saw the back-to-back rate increases in the summertime, obviously we saw it trail down a little bit more in the fall time. But again, like I said, we had a little bit of an uptick as we kind of finish off the year here. So that's single family homes. This is your townhouse market here. Again, we did see that little bit of a downturn in May there. I can't really remember what was happening at that time. It was a little bit of a unforeseen, little bit of a blip, especially when you're talking all three asset classes: single family homes, townhouses, and apartments had this weird little lower blip at that time there. But for the most part, we did see a slow increase as we kind of hit to the summertime there, and a little bit of a stale market as we kind of entered into the fall season there. And again, very similar as we're taking a look at apartments there. Apartments were a little bit more stable after we kind of hit the springtime. We kind of saw it stabilize. It's actually stabilized as we head into the fall season here. Now, when we're comparing sales data, when we're take a look at the past decade or past 13 years here, you're going to take a look here. We're actually at 2,400 sales for the year. Now the last time we saw that was 2015. So sales are down overall in the Kamloops Real Estate Board. Again, we're definitely not where we were 2021, where we saw over 4,000 sales. We're in around that 2,400 sales. So sales are considerably down. That was an anomaly year, especially if you're taking a look at this graph here. I do foresee that we're probably going to have a little bit more stable market like we kind of saw from 2010 to 2015 over the next couple of years. Again, there's a lot of unforeseen situations in the market now. Depends on how if we start to see the investor client come back. But for the most part, we see just your traditional move up, move down, first-time home buyers that have been in the market. We lost basically the investor client, which was a big driver of the market for the past 2 years there. Again, now when you're taking a look at average price, you're taking a look at the price growth. Again, when you're taking a look early from 2010 to 2015, again, very modest growth. And then, of course, the exponential growth that we saw with the COVID times, with the very low interest rate times, low interest rate, cheap mortgages, cheap money was helping to drive the price up. Now, the one thing that is surprising, we have had the highest interest rates that we've seen over the past number of years here. The prices definitely didn't go down relative to the interest rate increases. Theoretically, for every half price increase, you see a 6 to 7% decrease in affordability of what a potential buyer could afford on any given mortgage. We definitely didn't see those drops in values because I think that there's still a lot of demand in the market, not only in Kamloops but across Canada. A lot of people are coming in. We have a lot of immigration. Still have a lot of people moving to the area. A lot of investment. So I don't foresee that we're going to see the dramatic drop in price that everybody's hoping for or that everybody's kind of expecting there. So now when you're taking a look at average days on market, again, when you're taking a look back 10 years ago, it was very normal to have an average days on market considerably higher. We've just gotten used to homes moving really fast in the market over the past couple of years here. But a normal market in Kamloops, you tend to see homes sit on the market for 3 or 4 months. That is a normal market. Now, I don't actually foresee us going back to a time like that. I think buyers have been trained. I think technology has changed, that the speed of which information comes to a prospective buyer, comes to an agent, and the speed that we can actually get into these homes and write offers on good properties. I don't foresee this days on market climbing anything further past maybe the 2.5, maybe 3 months. I don't foresee it going back into the 100 days on market anymore. Again, I think anytime you look at any industry or any real estate market, a good home that's priced well in a good market is always going to sell. I've actually recently just dealt with, just this past week here over Christmas, 3 offers on a place up in Aberdeen. It was very specific. There's a reason that we actually listed it over wintertime, is because there was actually no homes on the market during that time in that price point in that specific area. So that created a unique opportunity for my sellers to be the only person on the market. So again, that drove that there's always buyers looking at in that market in that price point. So that actually ended up driving multiple offers. Similar to a townhouse that we had listed in Sahali. Again, it was one of the few homes in that price point. Again, that did drive multiple offers for that specific home. Again, that's not going to be for every home and every area or every kind of price point. Again, talk to your agent or feel free to reach out. I'm happy to go over what is best for your specific situation. Okay, now let's take a look at average list to sell ratio. Right now, we're back down in around 95%, just a little over 95% of what the house is listed at to what it actually sells at. Again, homes are sitting a little bit longer on the market. People are testing a little bit higher prices, realizing that that's actually not the price that it's, the price that it's actually going to sell at. So that those people are receiving lowball offers. Now, if you're priced accordingly to the market right now, you're actually not going to, you're probably more likely to get your list price or very close to your list price. But if you're shooting for last year's prices, you're going to sit on the market, you're going to end up dropping your price, accumulating these days on market, and probably getting lowball offers again. So that's something, again, case by case scenario of how you want to approach it and what your specific strategy is. But definitely keep an eye on that, because last thing you want is a 90% offer on your purchase price and selling for considerably lower than you were expecting. So again, the past 2 years here are obviously an anomaly when we saw these multiple offers. I don't see us going crazy anytime soon here at the $50,000, $100,000 over list price. I see a little bit more of a stabilization in the market. So now let's take a look at moving forward to 2024. Moving forward into 2024, if you're somebody that's considering buying or selling, well, what should you do? The actual answer is obviously depends on what type of property you own and where it's located and what kind of levels of inventory there are in those specific markets. It's looking like to me that yes, rates are on the way down, but how fast are they actually going to go down? Probably not that fast, but at least we're not going in the upward direction anymore. For buyers, you can look at the next 90 days as an opportunity where the prices are still a little bit lower and the rates are currently higher, but they're heading in a downward direction, which has been very clear from the announcements that we've seen from the Bank of Canada. Either way, you should not be buying a property in Kamloops if you're not looking to own the home for about 5 years or so. And if you're a seller thinking about coming to the market, you just have to be absolutely realistic with what is going on in the current market specific to your neighborhood and your price point. It's definitely not the market that we had before. It's a little bit slower, but it could pick up a little bit of steam as we enter towards Q2 when they're expecting the first rate announcement and the rate cut there. Just the talk of the rate cut could actually bring a little bit more confidence to the market, but that's going to depend on how many buyers are actually approved to make purchases and how many active listings there are on the market. And specific to your type of home and your market and your little segment there, everybody in every little market and every sub-market is going to be different. So make sure you talk to your realtor and find out what is best for your specific situation. Right now, we're at a point if everything remains relatively the same, we should be in a very similar situation at the end of next year as we were this past year here, which should be moderate growth of about 2 to 3%, which is typically a little bit of a normal market. Hopefully those charts and this video brought you some clarity of how we got to this current moment in time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great holidays. I really appreciate you being here watching these videos. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, because our next video is going to be my 2024 real estate prediction for Kamloops.